The basilisk is a very famous monster from old European stories. It was known by a fearsome nickname, the King of Serpents. This name was given because it was believed to be the most powerful and deadly of all snakes and reptiles. People in the past were truly terrified of this creature. They told stories about its incredible power to kill with just a single look. The mere mention of its name could cause fear in a village. People believed that if a basilisk lived nearby, the land would become barren and dead, a place where nothing could grow and no one could live safely. This reputation made it one of the most dreaded beasts in all of folklore. The fear of the basilisk came from its many deadly abilities. It was not like other dangerous animals that you could maybe fight or run away from. The basilisk was said to have an instant and unavoidable way of killing its victims. Its deadly gaze was its most famous power. If you were unlucky enough to lock eyes with the monster, you would die immediately. There was no defense and no escape from this terrible stare. This made any journey into wild or lonely places a frightening thought. You never knew if a basilisk might be hiding among the rocks or in a dark cave, waiting for an unfortunate traveler to pass by. This monster's name, Basilisk, comes from a Greek word which means little king. This name was likely given because of a small crown-like marking or crest that was said to be on its head. This feature made it look like it was wearing a royal crown, setting it apart from all other serpents. It was not just a snake, it was their ruler. The stories said that other snakes would flee from the basilisk, as they could not stand to be near its power. Even the bravest warriors and knights were afraid to face such a creature, because their strength and swords were useless against its magical and deadly nature. The basilisk was more than just a monster. It was a symbol of sudden and inescapable death. In a time when life was often hard and unpredictable, the basilisk represented the kind of danger that could appear without any warning. It was a perfect monster for stories meant to teach caution. The tales warned people to be careful and to respect the mysteries of the natural world. The idea of a creature so powerful that it could kill with a look made people think about their own vulnerability. The legend of the King of Serpents served as a powerful reminder that some forces were beyond human control and should be avoided at all costs. The stories about how a basilisk was born are very strange and specific. It was not a creature born from a normal mother and father. Instead, legends said that a basilisk hatched from an egg laid by a rooster. This was already a very unnatural event. To make it even more strange, this rooster's egg had to be hatched by a toad or a serpent. This unnatural process was believed to be the only way to create such a monstrous and evil being. The combination of a bird laying the egg and a reptile or amphibian hatching, it was a sign that the creature was against nature itself. This strange origin story is very important for understanding why people feared the basilisk so much. In many old cultures, things that were unnatural were seen as evil or dangerous. A rooster laying an egg was impossible in the real world, so it became a symbol of something gone terribly wrong. The involvement of a toad, often associated with witchcraft and poison, added to the creature's dark reputation. The birth of a basilisk was therefore a sign of chaos and dark magic at work. It was a perversion of the normal rules of life, and the creature that resulted was seen as an abomination, an enemy to all living things. The appearance of the basilisk was described in different ways over time. In the earliest tales from ancient Greece and Rome, it was often just a small snake, but a very venomous one. It was said to be about 12 inches long with a white spot on its head that looked like a crown. However, during the Middle Ages, the story changed. Because it was said to come from a rooster's egg, people started to imagine it as a mix of a rooster and a snake. It was often described as having the head, legs, and wings of a rooster, but the long, slithering tail of a serpent. This hybrid form made it look even more monstrous and unnatural. This combination of different animals made the basilisk a truly terrifying sight. It was a creature that did not belong to any single category. It was part bird and part reptile, a walking contradiction. This strange body added to the fear it inspired. When people saw illustrations of this beast in old books, they saw a monster that defied all logic. Its very existence seemed to be a mistake, a creature that should not be. This bizarre appearance, combined with its deadly powers and unnatural birth, cemented the basilisk's place as one of the most frightening and fascinating monsters in European folklore. The most famous and feared power of the basilisk was its deadly gaze. It was believed that a single, direct look from the monster's eyes would cause instant death. There was no poison to cure, no wound to heal. Life would simply cease. This made the basilisk incredibly difficult to fight. How could a hero defeat a monster that they could not even look at? This power was so absolute that it worked on any living thing, from the smallest mouse to the strongest knight. Even birds flying high above were said to fall from the sky if they happened to glance down into the eyes of the beast. The ground around a basilisk's lair was said to be littered with the bones of its victims. Besides its lethal stare, the basilisk had other dangerous abilities. Its breath was said to be just as deadly as its gaze. The air it exhaled was a foul, poisonous vapor that could wither plants, crack stones, and kill any living thing that breathed it in. Some stories claimed its venom was so potent that if a person on horseback speared a basilisk, the poison would travel up the spear, kill the rider, and then kill the horse as well. Even its touch was said to be fatal. This collection of deadly powers made the basilisk a walking plague, a creature whose very presence brought death and decay to the world around it. Despite these seemingly unbeatable powers, people did believe there were ways to defeat the King of Serpents. The most famous method involved using a mirror. Since the basilisk's gaze was deadly to all living things, it was also deadly to itself. A clever hero could approach the monster without looking at it directly, perhaps by walking backwards while watching its reflection. Then, at the right moment, the hero would show the basilisk its own reflection in a polished shield or a mirror. Upon seeing its own deadly eyes, the monster would instantly die, killed by its own terrible power. This was a battle of wits, not just strength. Another weakness of the basilisk was the weasel. For some reason, stories said that the weasel was the mortal enemy of the basilisk and was immune to its deadly gaze and breath. If a weasel was sent into a basilisk's lair, it would attack the serpent without fear and kill it. Some legends say the weasel first had to eat a special herb, rue, to protect itself. A third way to defeat the monster was to use the sound of a rooster's crow. Since the basilisk was born from a rooster's egg, the sound of a crowing rooster was said to be unbearable to it and could even cause it to die from the shock. These weaknesses gave people hope that the monster could, in fact, be beaten. Stories about the basilisk were told for many important reasons. On a simple level, they were exciting tales of monsters and heroes. They were meant to entertain people and also to serve as a warning. The basilisk represented hidden dangers that could be found in the world. By telling stories about a creature that could kill with a look, parents could teach their children to be cautious and aware of their surroundings. These tales encouraged people to avoid dark, lonely places and to be wary of things that seemed unnatural. The basilisk was a powerful symbol for the kind of sudden, unexplained death that people in the past often faced from disease or accidents. The basilisk also carries a deeper symbolic meaning. As the King of Serpents born from a rooster's egg, it represents something that is fundamentally wrong and against the natural order. In many religious traditions, the serpent is a symbol of evil or temptation. The basilisk, as the king of them all, can be seen as a symbol of ultimate evil, or perhaps a representation of a deadly sin like envy, which poisons everything around it. The story of defeating the basilisk with a mirror teaches a moral lesson, that evil can often be destroyed by its own nature. It suggests that looking inward, or self-reflection, can be a way to overcome our own worst tendencies. The legend of the basilisk has not been forgotten. It continues to appear in modern books, movies, and video games. A very famous example is in the book, where a giant basilisk lives hidden in a school. In this story, the monster has the classic deadly gaze and is the enemy of the hero. Its inclusion in such a popular series shows that the idea of the King of Serpents is still powerful and frightening to modern audiences. The basilisk has become a classic monster, a creature that writers and creators can use to represent great danger and ancient evil. Even today, the story of the basilisk can teach us something. It reminds us that some of the greatest dangers are the ones we do not see coming. The basilisk's deadly gaze can be seen as a metaphor for harmful ideas or words that can cause damage just by being seen or heard. The legend encourages us to be critical and to confront dangers cleverly, like using a mirror, rather than with brute force. The tale of the King of Serpents is more than just an old monster story. It is a lasting legend about facing our fears, understanding the nature of evil and the power of knowledge to overcome even the most deadly of threats.